Oh, hi. Well, people seem to be heeding Horace Greeley's advice. He said, go west, young man. We may change that a little bit right now and say instead, go northwest, young millennials. In just the last month, over 10,000 people moved into Washington state, and over 6,000 of them moved into the Puget Sound region. That's keeping companies like U-Haul pretty busy these days. Let's take a look at some of these trends in some detail. This information comes from the state, the Department of Licensing. It looks at driver license data and it's updated every month. So this is some really useful information. Now, this is not going to be the net migration results. We've got people moving into the state, but we also do have people leaving the state of Washington. But here are some trends. If you look at overall state in-migration patterns over the last 20 plus years, you can see that during the recessions in the early 1990s, in 2001, 2002, and again in 2007, 8, and 9, the amount of people moving into the state did drop off pretty significantly. But overall, in the last few years, we've been seeing an upward trend on the state level. The same holds true for the region. King, Pierce, Snohomish, Kitsap, and Thurston counties have seen the overall trend of migration into these areas climb from about 75,000 people a year back in 1999 to about 90,000 people a year currently. That's a significant jump in just those few years. So that's for the region overall. Let's break that down by county. King County has seen most of the in-migration. It's the largest county, so that makes sense. But if you look at the trends in this chart, you can see basically all of the 5 counties in the region have, over the last dozen years or so, experienced growth in the amount of people moving into the area. These numbers take us through the end of last year, but we can look at more recent numbers on a monthly basis. This chart shows the trend over the last 6 months, and you can see that most areas are pretty much holding on to the pattern that was established in the last couple of years. King County's monthly in-migration last year was about 4,500, 4,600 people a month. So far this year, in the past 6 months, it's been about 4,000 people a month. But the year's still young, so we'll keep monitoring this over the next few months. Now, this shows where people land. The question that we have now is, where did they come from? And the quick answer that most people are going to give you is, well, a lot of them come from California. Well, that's true. Actually, more than any other state, California accounts for a very significant level of in-migration into our region. But you can also see that since 1990, it's been generally a downward trend. It used to be that 35,000 people a year moved into Washington state from California. That's down to about 25,000 people a year currently. There are a lot of reasons for that. We don't have time in this video to go into it, but we will talk about it in future videos. But this loss has been made up for from a number of other states. We looked at 5 of the next most active states to see how they performed since 1990. And you can see that basically they've done pretty well, from fewer than 30,000 people a year moving from those states into Washington back in 1990 to almost 45,000 people a year last year. So what we lost from migration into Washington from California, we more than made up for from just these states. Question is, what states are they? Oregon tops the list. Very significant number of people moving to Washington from Oregon. Since 1990, you can see there's been a definite growth trend there, followed by Texas, then Arizona, Florida, and Nevada. So we've had significant in-migration over the last number of years. It has been growing. A very large portion of it is coming to the Puget Sound region. Over 60% of the total state in-migration is coming to the Puget Sound region, predominantly King County, but all of the other counties have enjoyed that growth too. Now, Alice Vogel is the economic analyst for the State Department of Licensing. And if you look up the state's website, and our article will have a link to that, you can see these all of the data behind these trends, and they update it every month, usually probably somewhere around the 10th of the month. So as you check these over the next few months, it'll give you a good indicator as to how much additional rental demand might be coming into our market. I hope that you enjoyed this week's video, and you'll come back next week for another weekly market update.